Welcome back to the Lanterne Rouge Cycling Podcast, the recap of Stage 8 of the Tour de France from Périgueux to Bergerac. We have 180 Ks of mostly flat, a few climbs, 2 Cat 4s, an intermediate sprint in the middle of them, but nothing in which anyone could drop any sprinter. The finish is a bit more technical than the other day. Big roads in the last 10 Ks, and then at 3 Ks to go, they start to do a dog leg around Bergerac. And then they finish where they turn right. Key corner is 500 meters to go. It then is on a relatively narrow road, but on VeloView, when I saw it looked narrower than it was. I don't know if they actually widened it a bit, because indeed it was not on Google Street View last night. But then today, I mean, it was possible to shoot from the back and sprint. 70 points on offer for the green jersey. Key stage for Pedersen to remain competitive and for Binny Philipsen to take back green jersey points. And yeah, the question was who was going to go on the breakaway. We knew Lotto would be in, and we knew maybe Caja would go in again, and we thought Benji, maybe Total should go in, because also we told them to go in.
Exactly. So that's the teams we definitely expected to be in, but I kind of want to see more than those 3 teams, and you're trying to hit this one fly and it's failing you miserably, but that's to the side. We had a breakaway of 3 riders. Otruba once again for Caja Rural. No Weinstroffer for Lotto. It was Liam Slog this time. And the third rider was Thibaut Gernalek for Total Energy. So 3 riders in that breakaway. After yesterday, Patrick. Yesterday we had Abrahamsen attacking 3 times in that stage. In doing so, ruining the effort, the power that the sprinting teams have, burning their domestiques. We saw that on view in yesterday's stage. And Wardenskool benefited from that, getting second on the stage. Why have teams still not learned?
Because they just want to, because they also don't pull. So like, it's very strange, right? Teams, they don't bring a classic lead out train because that's too old school. They want to be diversified across all stages. So they'll bring climbers who aren't good enough to climb, punchers who aren't good enough to punch, and breakaway guys who can't beat Mads Pedersen in the breakaway.
And sprinters who aren't good enough to win it with a France sprint.
Sprinters who can get good results in a tour stage.
Top 5-ish.
Max Canter, let's be honest, is Max Canter a top 7 sprint talent in the world?
Of course not. I wouldn't even name him in the top 15.
But Astana got an organized, professional, dialed-in lead out around him, and he's also improved, let's be honest. Like at Movistar, that was not obviously his true ceiling. I also was, probably, I didn't see a lot in him, and then he's really improved. But yeah, they don't pull. Merlier made mention of that in his sprint interview yesterday. He said, well, I'm glad no one else won except for us and Alpecin because they don't help. So yeah, I
disagree with that. Well, I see it from his perspective, but I think other teams shouldn't just not pull with them. I think they should attack throughout the stage to make it harder. If you've got a Binyam, that's fine. I'm okay with you focusing on Binyam.
He can legit win the green jersey.
His quest is the green jersey, and he's doing well in it. We'll talk about it after this stage. But if you're like UnoX yesterday, you want to do both breakaway and peloton, I'm sorry, Cofidis. What are you doing here? Milan Fretin's a solid sprinter, but he's the kind of guy that I want you to be in the breakaway to make it harder for the sprinting team so that your lead out has a better chance of doing something in the final.
Let Benjamin Thomas go on the break.
Exactly. He gets motorbikes on the side anyway.
Yeah. Benjamin Thomas with Liam Slock, with Otruba, with Gernalek, 4 guys, you got a real shot. I mean, when you look at how deep the break went today, I think you have a real chance, and you need 4 or 5. And yeah, exactly. Benjamin Thomas, let him free, let him go on the breakaway rather than pulling back. Like, rather than doing a lead out 4 Ks to go for Fretin to come like 8th. So, yeah, I agree with you, Benji. We've said it for years. It's also the case that if you put a guy up front, you can then conserve your lead out and then maybe position a little bit better. We saw what happened with, look at the results here. Yeah. So we'll get into the stage, but we'll explain, yeah. If the other teams have to use their lead out, then they might get worse results for their sprinter. We have that today with Max Canter.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I don't have notes for this, but so I don't know what happened at the KOM points.
Do we really care what happens at the KOM points in this stage? We had Liam Slock take the first one, and we had Liam Slock take the second one. But the intermediate sprint is the one where we've got those riders in the breakaway taking the points away. But in the peloton, Philipsen took it. He took it personally when we called him out for being slow in the last couple of podcasts. We'll see if that is still the case at the finish line. because he wasn't successful at the intermediate sprints in the last couple of stages. Manages to do it here though, and Pedersen only got 10 points. I think Philipsen got 16 or 14. So slight difference there. I think Biniam got in between of the two at the intermediate sprint. But
Pedersen, that's like what we said. I mean, on pure sprint ability at these intermediates, do you think the other bunch sprinters are like not trying? They're sprinting at 95. I think they're sprinting all out or not.
I don't know if it's all out, but Philip Pedersen is not like a gigantically worse sprinter than being able to top 3 a Tour de France stage. I think you maybe don't agree. I think his personal positioning is still not great. It was pretty great 4 years ago when he was consistently top 3, top 4 in Tour de France sprints. But even last year when it was against Sam Bennett in some French smaller races,
Provence or Bessèges,
he was really struggling to position himself. And maybe that was because his level in those races wasn't
you're right.
much, but I think that's why in these bunch sprints he's not as relevant right now.
Yeah, because on pure speed at the intermediates, he is competitive with the other bunch sprinter guys.
He should be able to podium a Tour de France sprint from a peloton bunch sprint.
Yeah, I agree. But he's got sort of the mixed lead up, but then that's going to pay dividends when we preview tomorrow's stage. So yeah, pretty unusual to have a back-to-back sprint stages, then a rouleur breakaway stage tomorrow on the weekend stages. But anyway, we had that for a Saturday stage. And you know what else is unusual? What you have to do with your phone sometimes when you come to Andorra, unless you have a local SIM card like me, things can be difficult, or you can forget to change your 4G or whatever, turn your data off at the border. You don't need an airport kiosk, or there isn't one here. So where can you have a solution for that? That's where Saily comes in. If Benji comes here, he needs data. I can tell you firsthand, he's on the internet.
I used Saily before it was cool.
He did. He was already using Saily because he needs the internets for the things he is doing. And every time he goes hiking, I'm also I go mother mode. I make sure he has mobile data that's available that he can use. I make sure he tells me his route, where he's going, so I know where he is, because I don't want the country's lone wolf to eat him. And even if it is eating him, at least if you can call me and let me know, I at least know what's happened.
Hey Patrick, I'm being eaten. What would you do?
Exactly. Then at least I know what's going on. So when Benji gets here, he opens the Saily app, activates his Andorra eSIM. By the time we crossed the border, when we drove back from Barcelona, he was already online. No hunting for a phone shop. No swapping tiny plastic SIM cards that I always break. Oh, my SIM card thing is like it's broken, but if I hold my phone at a certain angle, it falls, and then I have no SIM. It's a disaster. So none of that, no paperclip to open that SIM card tray. Just a few taps. Benji had data, and that's why we've been enjoying using Saily. Me for when I'm outside of Europe, when we had to go, where did I have to go? Somewhere strange the other day.
The other day?
No, not the UK.
I have no clue where you're going with this.
I've been traveling too much this year. I had to go somewhere. I had to use Saily. It was outside of my normal area. Mrs. Rouge will know.
Fascinating.
And then maybe Mrs. Rouge doesn't know. She's like, where? Did you go to Ibiza trip with the boys and didn't tell me? It's the same company. It's from the same company behind NordVPN that lets you buy affordable data plans for over 200 destinations before you travel. So whether you're coming to Andorra, heading to the tour, traveling anywhere, download the Saily app before you leave. Use our code LRCP at checkout for 15% off your first purchase. And it's one less thing to worry about. All right, Liam Slock's in the break. He's the strongest in the breakaway. He gets rid of a Truba, drops him, goes clear. We're at 15Ks to go, and we got a nice little battle on. We got 1 minute 30. We've got Slock, a big, strong rouleur in front. He's been very, very good this season. He won at GB Schippingen. He actually crashed over the finish line, and that was his first pro win. Line. Yeah, it was crazy. Rumors are he's going to Bahrain. Ooh. That will come into, I think, the final of this stage, or at least I think. And indeed, he's very, very strong rouleur. He's not an aero god, at least visibly, like an Abrahamsen, a Vestroffer. He's not like this dialed in. He's like more of a classics rouleur.
I was looking at this final, and the fact that you just described Liam Slock like that with 15 kilometers to go, with 10 kilometers to go, it looked like he had a chance of potentially making it to the finish line. And we saw the sprinting team spending riders one by one behind to try and catch him desperately, to the point that there were moments where Tudor had to come to the front, where Decathlon was talking into their radio. Can we go to the front and pull? Because they were starting to panic that it might not be a sprint. Then Prodom started pulling, which
Yeah.
in a flat sprint stage. Doesn't usually happen, is what I would say. But I think the added factor there is it's quite a few corners in the last bit of this stage, especially in the last 2-ish kilometers, getting quite technical. So they probably don't want to leave it too late either. Now, do you was there any point where you believed that Liam Slock was going to make it? And at a certain point, we were looking at each other and we said maybe an Alex Seehard-like attack could work here.
Yeah, I didn't think he was going to make it because it was still, the other teams were going to panic. It was still Alpecin, still Quickstep. They were doing majority of the pulling with NSN. And at 10Ks to go, the gap started to come down really fast. Also, just looking at his position, like he just really wasn't like dialed in aero like a Benjamin Thomas who can stay away in this situation. Also, 10Ks to 3Ks wasn't technical. He just bled time really, really fast. And so it was like, okay, then the other teams will eventually blink and they'll come and then he'll be done for. So he did a good job, but like Astana used their lead out early. They used a gate. They used a gate really early at like 5Ks to go. And I thought, I don't know, they blinked and I think it's cost Canter in the end. He finishes 9th. He's really needed that. Their lead out's been class, but it goes to show the Slock pressure made teams do things differently. And so we don't have a classical lead out. It's like jumbled up. Basically, he gets caught with 1.1Ks to go. Van der Poel's moved into like pilot Philipsen. They carry momentum past him. Sturven pulls off because Merlier's way too deep. He's lost Merlier. And Slock's caught. And then basically Van der Poel just starts his lead out into the corner. With Astana were there, but they got caught flat-footed. They didn't maybe expect MVDP to start his lead out like that. We're already at 500 to go. Right-hand corner. Merlier's way too deep. He's behind Binny. And MVDP starts really accelerates hard out of the corner. And I think, yeah, I just think he like it's hard to be too critical. It's like he's the best classic, like pure classics rider in the world. He's come to the Tour de France. He's helping a teammate win races. I understand that.
And he's been a great lead out in the past.
And he's done good lead outs in the past, but he literally makes the same mistake as yesterday.
Yep.
He leaves Philipsen middle, which like he has to do his lead out on a barrier and then pull off. And then Philipsen gets undercut by a rider again. Coy comes under him, like Gaviria yesterday. He also does his lead out in the curve is like his power starts high and goes down. And that's, I think Merlier is winning this anyway, but it should be the opposite. He should have started seated, progressive, next to Astana and through Astana and then built up the speed. He puts and the reason you can see this is when Van der Poel kicks out of this corner, he literally creates a split behind or in front of the Cofidis rider, which Merlier is behind.
Like the two things that I would point out is yesterday he left Philipsen with 250 meters to go too early. Today he left Philipsen at the right point, but like you say, too bursty when it comes to his lead out. But especially that barrier side thing for me, where the reason we discuss this is the reason you want as a lead out with a sprinter in the wheel to be on the barrier side is so that when you want to launch your sprinter or your sprinter to launch with, let's say 200 meters to go, Van der Poel can go inwards into the road, then Philipsen can sprint between the barrier and Van der Poel. In doing so, making it so that it's harder to get boxed in. That's number one, because you almost have to box in two riders for that to be able to be a play for a competitor. But secondly, because if Philipsen goes in between Barry and Van der Poel, then another sprinter renewal needs to go around both riders too to be able to compete. So you're not just launching yourself in a perfect fashion, blocking off one side of the road, you're also making it harder for another rider to overcome your sprinter by doing it on Barry's side.
So yeah, it's put Philipsen in a bad place twice. He gets left flat-footed. And today, I mean, it's all about Tim Merlier. He shoots from the back where Binny was and just comes like a freight train from like 300 meters. This is like we all remember the Abu Dhabi breakwater sprint, one of the greatest sporting feats like I've ever seen.
Really?
Yeah. I mean, this is like, because I was behind shooting from the back against Johnny Milan. Today is the same against the Van der Poel lead out. It's incredible.
For me, the comparison is stage 13 of the Giro d'Italia 2017. We've got Bora, I think they were called that at that point, with a lead out for maybe Sam Bennett, not completely sure. We've got Quickstep with Gaviria in the Maglia Ciclamino, and Gaviria gets squeezed out with about 800 meters to go into like P20, P22. In doing so, he spends the last like 600 meters sprinting past everybody and winning at the end of the day from like out of the shot in helicopter view. There's 18 people on screen. Gaviria is not one of them, and he wins the race. Today reminded me of that.
It was a crazy sprint. That's why these sprints are really exciting. I was calling Coy. I mean, Coy was in the perfect spot. And I think if that lead out from Van der Poel is paced differently, I think Coy maybe wins because he again gets himself on the back of the Alpecin train. He jumped Philipsen from behind.
Yeah.
I think Philipsen's quicker than this sprint shows. I think the fact that he gets
blocked in,
he gets jumped by Bini, Coy, and Merlier, gets boxed, and he still finishes fourth, means that he's actually better than this result shows.
Yeah,
I think it's quite hard to restart your sprint like that. But yeah, Merlier wins his consecutive sprint stage ahead of Bini, Coy third, Philipsen fourth, Bittner fifth, Plomer sixth, Ackermann seventh, Russo eighth, Canter ninth, Fratin 10th, Pedersen 12th. I really think Merlier should be trying at the intermediates, and Quickstep should also be trying to stop Pedersen for the green jersey. I don't know why they don't.
I think Merlier's been rolling over the line in P9 at every intermediate sprint, but
yeah, maybe leading it by now.
Start competing.
Yeah, but again, and same with Coy's not been going for them at all, but he'd be in the mix. He'd be around where Philipsen is. So the green jersey is really, really exciting right now. Pedersen still has it, but his lead is 15 points over Merlier and is 25 points over Bini. Bini's second today. Philipsen's on 175, so he's about 53 points behind Pedersen. So Philipsen's quite a bit behind Merlier and Bini, but this can all change. If one guy gets boxed in, finishes 12th, and the other guy gets a 70-pointer.
If one guy crashes out, we've seen it last year, sadly, with Philipsen, it also changes the story.
Philipsen should have been relegated yesterday.
Fair.
In which case, if he'd been relegated yesterday, then
he would have lost 30-ish points, probably, is my assumption.
Yes.
Is that correct?
I can't. Yeah, he would have lost something. He was 7th, I think.
Less than 30.
Yeah, less than 30, I think. So Canter, the 9th place hurts him. Yeah, he needed that lead out. So quite an exciting sprint. I can't wait for this jersey. I think, who's your favorite for green right now?
Oh, how many flat sprints do we have left? That's the question we are. 3? 2?
Stage 11?
Yeah. 12?
Stage...
my website just died.
Yeah, PCS is asking me to confirm I'm a human. And
I'm
not able to do that.
You're not human.
Stage 12. So stage 11 and 12.
12 has a climb there.
No, it's not.
It's not a climb. Okay.
17.
Nah, that's break.
You say that, but...
That's break. Right. It's third week. This is Asgreen, Abrahamsen, and his other Danish companions in the breakaway for me. And then it's 21. There's no sprint beyond stage 12, pure sprint.
Is Merlier really getting dropped on Montmartre, or am I overrating Merlier? It's 1K, 5.5%, 10K.
I don't think he needs to be dropped there, but we saw last year that's a pretty weird stage sometimes. I don't know what we're going to expect that day. If it's super rainy, maybe the GC times get neutralized. Maybe half the peloton doesn't care. I don't know, but green jersey riders should.
So there's only 2 pure bunch sprints left.
Yeah, so that's 140 points for Merlier if he strikes both, hypothetically, in that scenario.
But then,
is that something Pedersen can overcome by winning 17, which is 50 points from the breakaway, hypothetically?
And Bini ain't getting dropped on 21, nor Philipsen. No way. So
I think it's very equal across the board.
I don't agree with you about 17. I think if 3 strong classics teams decide something's happening, or they go in the break themselves.
Well, but 3 strong classics teams were in the race today, and Slock nearly won.
Nah, they were baiting him. This brings us to tomorrow's stage. No GC changes. Tomorrow's stage is a very important day in the green jersey battle. I think it's 50 points at the finish, 186 stages from Bad Death to Ussel, and it's
Death?
Malemort.
What?
3,250 meters elevation gain.
I'm confused. Continue. Sorry.
The start place. We have the intermediate sprint finally for Mads Pedersen at the top of a 2.6K 5% climb, 45Ks in. So it's hilly to start. Do Trek control and try to drop the sprinters? I think if you want the maximum points delta, I think Trek should want no break there and to do a lead out into that IS. And then you reckon Bini can survive 2.6Ks 5% and then sprint?
For me, the question is more, what do we expect the outcome of this stage to be? If we expect it to be a versatile sprint, then Pedersen might stay in the peloton.
Ah,
If we expect it to be a break, then Pedersen will attack before that intermediate sprint.
this is nailed on break. It has to be, because Pedersen also, if you look at what they did on the stage he won, you rinse and repeat that here. You go in the break with Vatsek and Simmons.
Then he's going in the break before that intermediate sprint for me.
Yeah, okay, true. Then he wants to be in the break. Then he's in the break. Even if he wants to win the stage, which if he makes that finish, no one's beating him in that finish with teammates. I think it's harder to control than the other day because there's more attack points.
Mm-hmm.
There's like launching pads nearer to the finish. I think it's a ruler breakaway. I think Pedersen will be the favorite from the break, but I'm not going to go for him.
Okay.
I'd love to go for my Movistar duo, Castrillo and Garcia Pierna.
I like it.
But I'm afraid I just don't think they're going to win.
Or you're starting to get worried about a second dinosaur costume because you didn't pick Merlier today.
Vatsek's not allowed to win.
Yeah, I think Yef will be in the break for KOM because what is that? Third cat, second cat, third cat, fourth cat. Quite a few points.
So you do have to survive a climb. There's a climb of 5K, 6%, pretty far from the finish, 50, 60Ks. I got some bad news for you, Benji.
What?
Stage is going to be won by Tim Wellens.
By Tim Wellens. Okay, I'll allow that. I will pick Pedersen as a safe bet. I would love for Vatsik to have the freedom, but based on the last stage, I haven't seen the ability there. It's not hard enough for me to shout a name like Healy and so forth. Simmons could win this from a break. Abrahamsen could win this from a break. But I'm too fanatically invested in winning this prediction competition with you, so that's why I'll pick Pedersen as the safest bet.
Yeah, Pedersen's the safest bet. Okay. Well,
sorry, why does Gunnar not go in breakaways like this, man? Like,
because you're not in good shape. What do you mean? Why doesn't he? Luke's saying stage 1. Luke's outraged.
Yeah, Luke is outraged, rightfully. Actually, he was pretty good in stage 1. I don't think I haven't seen him since.
I got some bad news. Yeah, because he doesn't try half the time.
That's why I'm complaining.
Yeah, he doesn't.
I want him to try.
Yeah, well,
what's it? The thing with Van der Poel is this would be a stage where I name Van der Poel from the break.
Shouldn't Dean Gordon go on the break? Yeah.
Van der Poel.
Yeah, true. But Philipsen got to take those points. But Van der Poel needs to go on the break to make sure Pedersen doesn't win.
But he didn't do last time, did he?
I think can I pick Van der Poel? Please?
You can, because you're losing at the moment.
Okay, I pick Van der Poel because I think Wellens, I'm
going to regret this.
Wellens maybe stage 17.
Yeah, but you said it was going to a peloton 10 seconds ago.
Yeah. Okay. We have an important announcement for you all. We followed through on what we were going to say. This is important to listen up. We have a new podcast. We just recorded it during this stage. It's called Unqualified Movie Reviews. You can find it on YouTube, Spotify, and Apple already. And the first episode will be dropping this evening. So you can see the cover art is me and Benji looking into a field. And we are reviewing Sheep Detectives. That's in the editing house right now. So look forward to that this evening. Once you're finished with this episode of the sprint stage, go straight to Unqualified Movie Reviews. Link will be down below as well. And give it a listen. If you like it, and cool, whatever.
I can't wait. Generally, I've got like a list of movies I want to push you through. Apparently, I haven't even seen Star Wars.
I've seen them. I mean, Natalie Portman was my first love as a child when I was...
You were like Annie, the child in like the first Star. I have no clue what this reference is. So what's the point?
Was she in Star Wars, Natalie Portman?
Yes, she was.
Yes, I was like... Okay, I was 6. I don't know why. At 6 years old, I liked Natalie Portman, but I remember that. So...
I'm very happy for you.
Yeah, we had some good takes, and I said Hugh Jackman's not a good actor. Lots of different things. You can get your teeth stuck into that, and
that's a crazy take, by the way. We'll get into that in that podcast, so no spoilers.
Thanks for listening as always, and we'll see you with the recap of the Ruler Breakaway tomorrow. Ciao, ciao, ciao.